Hello everyone and welcome to the Sweeney Show Business and Law Podcast. Joining me here today is Kieran McCarthy of KMC Homes. Designer, builder, full remit, developer, construction.
Everything but developer.
Everything.
I suppose.
Okay.
Developer is probably a bad word, but
okay.
We do everything.
Yeah.
Designer, builder, everything. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
and
yeah.
So just a bit about yourself, Kieran. So you're a Cork man?
Corkman, yeah. Grew up in Middleton.
And are you qualified engineer? Is that, did you go to
yeah,
UCC,
went to
was it?
UCC 92 to 96.
Yeah.
Did civil engineering there.
Okay.
Yeah. Then left. Kind of wanted to get into kind of project manage a little bit on site, kind of dealing with people more so than just the kind of structural end of it.
Is construction in the family?
Yeah, my father was a kind of quarry manager, and my grandfather was he had a quarry as well and whatever. So a bit of construction, a lot of handymen and whatever in the background, and engineers and stuff. Yeah, so.
And then you come out of UCC. Was it straight into a site you went?
Yeah, I worked
engineering company.
I worked with Sisk for 2 years in UCC, and the first phase of the courthouse project when it started, and then I went to Murphy's in the UK for another 2 years. And then a stint with Hegarty's in Dublin for another few years up there, and then back to Lanes in Cork. And I suppose at that stage.
And was it all residential? Was it varied work, commercial?
I suppose it was
big
initially
sites?
big scale commercial, then a bit more kind of apartments and kind of more architectural end of things. I worked on the Sundays as well, tennis club with Lanes in Cork, so that was a nice kind of architectural project. So they were getting smaller and more architecturally detailed as time wore on.
And when did then KMC Homes set up?
Yeah, so late 2003, believe it or not, which seems like a long time ago now.
So that's 15, 16 years now, is it?
About 15
and then
years,
at the time, was that the country was probably doing well at the time, was it?
Yeah,
we
were just over the .com bubble in September the 11th and all that, and the country was doing well, and I thought, look, now was the time. I'd seen enough, and I wanted to kind of do my own thing.
And did you start off? Was it one-off residential homes back then, or were you doing sites, or was it?
When we started off, I suppose. Look, when you open a business, like you know it well, you start off with a little bit of everything, just to kind of get a feel for what do you like, what you not like, what are you good at, and everything else. So it started small with that, and then quite quickly it was kind of one-off homes / extensions, renovations in that mix, and I loved that because you're dealing with the customer, the client. The client is a private client. And the higher end stuff is kind of architectural and all that. So I love that kind of the high end design kind of end of things as well, and a bit of complexity around the building as well. I like that kind of challenge, So so we started there. So we did a lot of extensions, renovations to begin with, and then kind of one-off houses, then larger one-off houses, and we built some wonderful.
And that's kind of go on since the last 15, 16 years.
Yeah, well, that went on till I suppose 2011, 12ish. I was, I suppose as much as I loved doing it, kind of one thing I saw in it that clients always got a little bit of a rough ride because they were torn between the architect, us the builders, the engineer.
Different companies.
Different people. Different people.
Opinions. Yeah.
Like you have they're all kind of separate entities, and the client was always a little bit in between all those, and the client was getting pulled different directions. You see it on Dermot Bannon on TV or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't love...
The quantity surveyor seems to always get a bashing as
well. I suppose the money always gets...
It
gets added into it. But I kind of struggled a little bit with that. I thought there might be a better way to manage the whole system for our customers. So we thought of changing things around a little bit. There's a kind of a process called design and build. I'm sure you know it from the legal side of things, but where one company takes responsibility for everything. So one company will employ all the different people you need, the architect, the engineer, the QS, the builders, all under one roof, and the customer engages that company, So I kind of liked that idea.
Does that mean then you kind of restructured your in-house structure where that you hired in all these experts?
Yeah, correct. Well, I suppose, look, I come from an engineering background, so I have the kind of design side of it, and then I've been building for God knows how long. So I had both sides of it, and I felt we could offer it that way because of my own background and what we were good at and all that kind of thing. So we branched out into that, and having researched it, I realised a lot of it's done particularly in the southern hemisphere, believe it or not, Australia and New Zealand. So I took it upon myself to fly to New Zealand and meet some design build company directors out there for a few weeks. And
Brilliant. Just get some on-site experience.
Yeah, I got in touch with a lady who was working out there, and she volunteered to set me up meetings with various directors of design and build companies out there. And over a few weeks I met 7 or 8 of them and got a sense of how they were doing things and all that.
And took home that information with you?
Yeah.
And did you transfer that into actually running the business?
A lot of it was kind of ideas I had that I thought, would they work or would they not work? And I went over there and it was like a 3D model of what was in my head. It was brilliant. So I thought, this is...
And was it that wasn't in Ireland at the time, or was it they were the first to do it?
Still not really in Ireland, So I came home then and I just progressed with what I was doing, what they were doing. Now, New Zealand's a bit different because planning is a bit more straightforward and what have you out there. But so.
And did you apart from, I suppose, looking at your client or customer and making it easy for them, did you have to adjust through a recessionary period from like that 2008, 2009, 10? Was that like a pivot?
Yeah, well, we were kind of probably over the worst of it then. I mean, recession hit everyone.
Yeah.
We weren't a developer, so we weren't hitting that kind of space. I mean, look, everyone's, the margins and all that were obviously hugely hit. But we were still getting work, we were still quite busy, and we had a good reputation. We were quite established. We were lucky in that we weren't too established, in which case we had 3 or 4 sites in God knows where, and but we were established enough to sail through.
And then you just cut your cloth to suit your measure a bit.
Yeah, it worked. Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, and then so that was kind of 2012, 13, was it? You went to New Zealand that period, and
yeah.
And then so from that, then, because I've just noticed, I suppose this is how we came upon you maybe the last year. You've really embraced social media.
Yeah.
I see you're vlogging, you're blogging, and you've met famous Casey Neistat in Dublin. And that, so do you feel that's enhanced? Is that where we're going now, as like the modern day builder construction, where you're making yourself more accessible to your client?
I couldn't say all builders are going there. Certainly we're going there. I suppose I've always felt a need to be innovating in some direction.
Sure.
You're either innovating into a certain niche, or you're looking at something different. It might be technology, it might be social media, it might be marketing and all that. So I've always been kind of going in that direction anyway. But I got kind of interested in initially blogging. I enjoyed writing blogs. The vlogs are equally enjoyable, but an awful lot more time involved. I'm sure you know all about it.
Yeah. But do you enjoy it?
I do enjoy it. Yeah. The hardest part is actually coming up with something to vlog about.
There's a big thing at the moment now with all these influencers across the world, where like it's influencer burnout. Yeah. Where like people are just so under pressure to come up with new content all the time and all this that but I think from your point of view, what's different from like an influencer might be paid for a product is that you're talking about what you know all the time, isn't it? This is you know this product. Just getting the message out.
I kind of call them info vlogs. So I kind of come up with something that like our customers might ask me about, and go, geez, people.
Is that you have? Is it Facebook, YouTube, KMC Homes? Is that your Facebook page?
Kieran at KMC Homes is the YouTube, and Facebook is KMC Homes.
We can find it there. Well, wow. So here we are now, 2019. What I'd like to ask you, because we have lots of conveyancing here ourselves, residential and otherwise, we would have typically, it seems at the moment the typical person who's building a house now is a professional couple in their kind of early to mid 30s. And they might have either got a site from a family member, or they purchased a site somewhere in rural Cork, out the country somewhere, and then they want to build their dream home. So they see the site, they've done their deal with the auctioneer. Generally, the solicitor gets contacted in that time as well, because they have their bank finance, they're arranging their stage payments. They might have bought the site themselves out of their own funds, and then we're down to drawdown. Where do they start as regards their dream home? Is that they see Picture Magazine, or they see something and then they go to KMC Homes? How do they get from nearly zero or minus as regards turning sod to turning a key in their dream home? Well,
we'd even be before turning the sod. They might have got a site from mum or dad, or bought a site, right? So we would take it from I just got a site to
concept of design,
concept to completion.
Okay.
So I suppose they come to us and go, look, we have a site, we have a budget, we have some idea of what we want out of the house in terms of bedrooms and living space and everything else. What's the next step? The next step is we can take it from there to completion. So I suppose like at the very beginning, you have three key strands. It's like design, what you're looking to do, what's your budget, and the planning permission aspect of it. They're the three key things. I suppose in the traditional sense, as you probably know, a lot of people start off with an architect. They might need they need an engineer. They might get a QS, then they get a builder, and they get caught between them all. And you see all the kind of the things that happen on room to improve and all that sort of things, which are very entertaining, but not too entertaining when you're at the receiving end of them. The other, like what we do,
I presume the fourth aspect of that then is timeline. You have to actually manage an expectation, and like these things don't happen overnight, especially the planning process. And
the hardest part of the process I find to manage is actually before the planning, because you have a lot of different. You have an architect to manage, you have the QS to manage, you have the client to manage. We'll step in whenever needed, but you're managing a lot there to get the whole thing moving. But so they come to us and they say, look, this is what I'm looking to do. This is my budget. Can you take it from here? And that's what we do. So we'd sit them down and we.
Is that do you have to manage an expectation there, or is it you use your own creativity to try to meet it somewhere?
You do. Some people have will automatically engage with what you have. Some people have ideas, and you're going, well, look, that's grand if you have the money for that, and they rarely if ever do. So you have to go, well, look, this is what we could do for that kind of budget. And after a little bit of iteration on that, they kind of go, yeah, I like that, and at that kind of money, it works for me. And would we get planning? Well, I think you would. So then you have the three kind of stools.
Okay. And then are all new homes now aerated homes, or is that a budget or an environmental decision that a purchaser or a builder might make?
Okay. In theory, you don't actually have to have an aerated home to comply with building regulations, but 99 times out of 100 it is. So when you see vans driving past saying specialising in aerated homes, you're really specialising in complying with building regulations. Okay. So all our homes would be A3 and in many cases A2.
Yeah, and just that just means that the house itself is creating so much energy it's retained in the house, and that your energy costs and heating costs over a period of time, or it won't actually be as much.
Yeah, your running costs are very low. Yeah. I mean, an A3 rated is an excellent house. A2, you're heading up into real high energy.
We see BR certs on old houses. They can get a D rating, D1. Some of the city houses in here. Yeah. I don't know how much bearing they really carry. But obviously you can decide an older house, you're aware of.
In older houses, I think, I mean, any young couple buying an old house, whether it's a D rating or a G rating, they're probably going to be bringing it up to a B rating anyway. So it's whether it's D or,
So we've met you, we have our plans done, then our planning. So what's the kind of...
Well, just I suppose a little bit about the plans, because we'd be engaging an architect to draw plans for you. We've had a look at your site and we're doing floor plans. Now, as we're doing floor plans around your unique needs and wishes, we're also costing them at the same time, which is kind of unique in many ways, because as it's being designed, you're seeing how much it's going to cost. If it's costing you too much, you can scale it down. If you have a bit of space left, you can add on a little bit, and it happens a bit both ways. So when the floor plans are complete, we bring it up into a 3D model and a virtual walkthrough. So you get a really good sense of the design, and then we give you a very detailed cost as part of our process. So at this stage now, we're kind of ready to go into planning. A lot of people in the countryside, you have kind of a unique planning situation, because if it's an A3 rated planning zone or a planning control area, you need to ensure you kind of grow up in the local area and you have connections to the area. So we have to go into all that. Yeah. But at that stage then, we're going into planning. So the beauty of that is, if you get planning, all the design work is done, all the costing work is done. So that headache is out of the way, and you're going to...
Is there then sometimes you might get questions back from the planning department over the design or the size or the shape or the aspect?
Yeah, the planners it might go to further information. If it goes to further information, it means that they don't have enough information. You have a high chance of getting a positive planning decision. They're not ready to give it yet. Further information might be information they require, or they need amendments done to the design. But that's generally a fairly positive result, because you get planning at some
What's
stage.
a kind of a broad stroke timeline of the planning process?
The planning process is about 8 weeks for an initial decision, and if the initial decision...
You could have maybe, a neighbour appeal it, or a neighbour object or something like that, could you? Or
well, you'll have 8 weeks for initial decision. If the initial decision is positive, you have another 4 weeks for potential objections. Okay. So overall, generally speaking, you're about 12 weeks.
Okay,
and then you have kind of commencement notices to deal with as well. So you have another 2 weeks of commencement notices. So that's another 2 weeks beyond the final planning date as well. Then before you can go on site.
And then hopefully, then your planning is stamped, ready to go, and then you're on site.
Yeah. And I suppose what we've done on site is, again, to kind of add value, is like we've often found that customers and whatever on site, in many cases they're kind of kept in the dark. They've seen the drawings. Some people can read drawings, some people can't. They're on site and they need a lot of transparency of what's going on, particularly if they're working themselves or they can't be on site and they just want a bit of communication.
Sure. And also they may be renting somewhere else and now their mortgage is starting to pay. So
Well,
I suppose they're under
that.
this timeline of financial pressure to get it all in.
So what we do on the timeline, and kind of just from an information point of view, we've developed an app. So people have a KMC Homes app. So when we're on site, all the drawings are in their app. The project schedule, giving their timeline, or as you say, when they're renting, so they can see when they'll be finished. We have a foreman on site who'll be sending them daily photographic updates on the app as well. So it's a great, from the point of view of the customer, so they can see exactly what's going on. So
you're really at the forefront of modern technology and trying to because communication is even in like the legal game. That's one of the crosses that a lot of solicitors fall down on, is that lack of communication. Yeah. And I just find if you can just tell someone, good or bad, they just need the information, because it means they're not chasing you down, or you're not.
Or if you front load information, clients, they know what it makes a huge difference.
Sometimes the simplest things are smartest, aren't they? Because everybody has a smartphone now; it's accessible. You just have your own app. They log on there, get the details, and then I presume then they can raise queries if they need to.
Well, they can message the foreman in the app. They can message me in the app. They see all their drawing. They see their account live. So if they pick their tiles or floors, we have all allowances for those, and they're automatically recalibrated. It connects with our accounting system, so when they make a payment, there are reduced balances on the app. So they always know where the reduced balance and everything else is on the app as well.
And then just say to further on the design and build, do you get involved in interior design then, or is that something like to the client's taste or budget? Let's say even the fitted kitchen and tiles and that.
Well, we'd have an allowance for a kitchen, and we would have recommended kitchen suppliers who would do the design for them, right? In conjunction with ourselves now as well. We would design the stairs, we would design all the joinery, we would design the lighting layouts, we would design all the heating. To an extent, yes.
Yeah. And do you have to, because I know like in a large estate, maybe 150 other houses, the developer has put a bond in place to the council to make sure the roads and services. Is there something similar like that for like a one-off bills?
No. Okay. No.
So you just connect the services up, is it?
Yeah.
To the local mains or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
Or the house might have a septic tank itself or something?
Yeah, you're generally into a septic tank or treatment unit. A lot of our customers be out in the countryside, so you have a septic tank, you have a treatment unit, you have a well. So most of the services are direct on site. You have an ESB connection, which is generally from a pole or a local service, and most of our heating systems then would be air to water. So it's you don't have gas.
And then who then gives the certifications at the end, like sort of compliance with building regs?
We have an external engineer who will come along and they'll do all the stage.
And is that
payments.
The same guy then does the stage payment and certifies?
Yeah, so he'll do all the interim certs. He'll certify the foundations and the wall plate and the roof and everything else. And he'll deal with our client's solicitor and liaise with the client's bank for all the payments and all that side of things as well.
And do those houses come with a bond, a guarantee?
Well, what we do is we give a full 3-year design and build complete warranty, and I suppose the benefit of that is if you have just a builder's warranty or you just have an architect's warranty, again you're kind of in the middle, and if there's an issue, is it the architect's problem or the engineer or the builder? We have a full design and build warranty. To be honest, we'll come back.
Yeah.
We come back anytime anyway, but
of course,
because it's in everyone's interest. But we give a full 3-year design and build warranty, so no matter what happens, we'll come back and fix it.
So if I was starting out at the very start of the process, is there any tips you might give?
If you have a green field or whatever, well, I suppose the first thing is like a lot of our customers, they'd have dad might be a farmer, and they might have a choice of 3 or 4 different sites, and they're kind of wondering, well, if they all look like fields, they all look the same to me. I mean, I was out on a project there during the week, and this lady had a choice of 4 different sites. 2 were on a very busy main road. I thought we'd struggle to get planning because of the heading out onto the main road, and they were very noisy. So I said, look, I don't know, are these great sites? And she said she wasn't really too worried about it anyway. And then there was 2 more on a side road. So we had a look at those, and like from a road access point of view, wasn't a difficulty. One had a little bit of what they call ribbon development, where you've like 4 or 5 houses along the road, and you'd be like the 6th house. Planners don't love that because you're creating a precedent for kind of like a mini village. And the other one then was way up, and there was one other house nearby. So it wasn't kind of in the middle of nowhere, which planners don't want, which is called backland backland development. It was near a new house, so it would have been fine that way. It had good road access, and there was hard shoulders on the side of the road, so you had good access, visibility up and down. You need to be able to see 90 metres up and 90 metres down from 2.5 metres back. So it had all that. The site was reasonably level, so you weren't getting into the expense of
excavation or whatever,
excavation and moving soil and all that, and was reasonably well drained. You didn't have rock, you didn't have a boggy area, so it had all that. And again, I won't say most importantly, but very importantly, it had a nice kind of southwest view over the valleys, so it ticked a load of boxes. So a little there on choosing the site first of all before you get into the next steps of what you're looking to do and budget.
Very good. Well, Kieran, thank you very much for coming today. I think that's been really informative. I think if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can Facebook, YouTube, or maybe your email.
Website, KMC Homes.
We'll put the details up here, and we might have even show some of your houses here cut into it. So listen, thank you very much for your time, and very best luck to you. Thank you. Cheers.